All right. All right. So, like I said, we're talking about getting people to your parties, be it virtual or be it live parties, kitchen shows, cooking shows. But it takes just the same amount of time when you go to a party. When you walk in the door and you get to the party, you really can't do anything about the attendance at that point. So all the attendance stuff has to be done ahead of time. And one consultant friend of mine, she says, the host coaching is where you earn your paycheck, and the party is just where you pick it up. Which really is true because it's all about helping that host. And a lot of times, I know when I was new, I was afraid to talk to my host. I was afraid that I'd be pushy, or maybe she, didn't want to do things, or I didn't want to call her because I didn't want to bother her. And over the years, because I've been doing this for 22 years, I have found that the hosts that I truly help, they are the happiest hosts, and they get the most benefits, and they are happy because their friends are at their house. If you ever had a party and nobody shows up, you feel pretty crappy. You've all been there probably. I know I have, where I invite people over and I didn't do a very good job about following up, and maybe I sent out an email or put it on Facebook and then people didn't come, and then I don't feel so good. So we want to help our hosts because they don't really know what to do. This is a one-time opportunity for them to have their friends over, have fun, but also to earn tons of Pampered Chef Free. And so we're kind of doing them a disservice if we give them a packet and then we don't follow up until the day before the party. We're not really doing what we need to do. So it takes seriously. You're going to be at the party anyway, or you're going to set up all the posts for a Facebook party anyway. So you might as well get the most for your host. And then when you help your host, you're going to help yourself. You're going to make more commission. You're going to get more bookings. You're going to get more things from that party. So it's really worth doing that host coaching. So really, it's just helping that host to get people to her party. And typically, we want to contact our host like 3 different times. So if she books at the party, I give her a packet at the party. And if she books outside of the party, then I'm going to mail her a packet 3 weeks before her party. So 3 weeks before her party, I want her to have a packet. I'm going to, once she receives that packet, like I just mailed out all my April packets this week, and next 2 days, I'm be calling every single one of them. So I want to at least have one call with them, even if they're a virtual party or they're, they prefer to, I'll just text them and say, hey, do you have 5 minutes where we could connect and I can give you some tips on how to have a good party? And most of them are say, yeah, 5 minutes. So then I just want to make sure it's a good time when we talk. And then there's 3 main things. It's over invite. And most people don't know this. How many do you think, what percentage do you guys think attends a party that's invited?
Based on what I'm seeing so far, less than 10.
Yeah.
10%. I find, typically about a third. So if you invite 30 people to a party, you might get 10 people there. But we're going to talk more about how you invite those people. So your host, does anybody have a host that the only way they want to invite people is by Facebook? Okay. Because if they do, they're probably not going to have a great party if that's the only method that they use. So I do set up a Facebook event for all my hosts. You don't have to do that, but I do offer to do that, or your host can do that. But the main thing is her being excited about her party and her talking to people. So I'm going to post on this page when we're done. Not on the Zoom page, but I'll go back to the team training page. I have like a flyer that I use that tells them 6 ways they can invite their host, or their host can invite their guests. One is by verbally, one is by texting, one is by phone call, one is by Facebook, and one is by invitation. And so if they use a combination, and every guest should be invited 2 different ways. So if they have a friend that texts, they should text her an invitation and then maybe do the Facebook page. Or if they have a friend they're going to see, they should hand them an invitation and then use the Facebook as their secondary. And then I'm going to go on to Consultant's Corner here. I'm going to screen share with you guys to show you some resources that are maybe really helpful. Hold on. Every time I go to do this, I mess something up on here. Hold on. Okay, so let's go to I'm trying to get to where it's got a little green thing on here and I can't. Okay, so PC University, you guys go to PC University, right? And then you guys are all familiar with that. And then once you're on your PC University, you'll go to courses or resources right here. You'll click on resources. And if you go down here to download a table talk guide, this is so helpful. This was what I needed when I started because I knew what I was supposed to say to people. Like I knew that I was supposed to tell them to over-invite, and I knew I was supposed to tell them, you know, 1/3 of those people that you invite are going to attend. I knew that's what I was supposed to tell them, but I didn't know like how to say it. Does anybody else feel that way? Okay, so this was like what I did when I started is I called my director and I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So tell me what I'm supposed to say. And I wrote it down verbatim and I printed it, I had it on a thing. So every time I made my phone calls, I had it. So what I suggest you do is print this right here off where it says first contact with your host. And you basically follow it verbatim. So, you know, hi, is this a good time? Great, I'm really excited about your party. I can't wait. You know, tell me what products would you like to get into your kitchen. I want to help you to earn them for free. My goal is to help you maximize your rewards and have a great time. I'm so excited to party with you. So if somebody called you, like your consultant called you and said that, how would that make you feel?
You're excited.
Yeah. What else?
Well, important. You know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that maybe they took the time to do this with you. And, you know, then you kind of view that person more of as a professional, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to be viewed as a professional, somebody, because you're starting your business out, and a lot of times when you first start your business out, people don't take you very seriously, right? Like, oh, yeah, she'll be doing this for a couple weeks, and then she'll be done, right?
Exactly how I feel.
All right, so this is where it's really important that you do the professional thing. And if it's your friend and you feel kind of weird or awkward, because I know the easy part was when I was doing things with people I didn't know. The hard part was my friends and my family. Mostly I didn't have family that helped me. I had friends that helped me. So what you can say to your friends is, hey, I got to practice. Would you mind if I do this practice on you and let me know how I did? So if they're having a party with you, just say, hey, I've got to practice this, and I want to practice on you because you're one of my first hosts, and it would really be helpful, and then you could give me feedback on what you think. Would that be okay with you?
I think that's doable because one of the things I learned is my first 2 parties were people that were friends and at my own party.
Uh-huh.
And even the 2 going forward are also people who came to the party I had, which was a virtual party, and then afterwards. But I think, first of all, I felt like I was under the gun to be out the gate really fast to meet the incentive part for part of the enticement for signing up. And then, so it was kind of like going into it, and I kind of took for granted that I knew these people and we had a history and a relationship. And so it was going to be as easy as my party, and that's not been the case.
and you know, everybody, because you'll have hosts that are really, really good hosts, and they just take off, they go, they're great, and they do everything you ask them and more, and they come up with great ideas on their own. And then you'll have some hosts and they don't do anything because they just are busy and they put it on the side burner. And so that's where you really kind of have to have this first, you know, coaching call with them. And then, so here's like I said, print this off. Print it off. You'll have words to use. You'll feel better. I promise. It really, really helped me. So then, you know, she talks here again. It's one last thing. Not everyone's going to be able to come to your party. Honestly, 2/3 of the people you invite are not going to be able to come to your party. And that's normal. So let them know that's normal, because then they start to feel bad because they get a bunch of no's. All of a sudden, they get no, can't come, no, can't come. Just tell them that's normal. You're going to get people that can't come. It's not a priority in people's lives coming to a Pampered Chef party. It's honestly not. And so it's okay to get no's. Those people can still shop, and they still may want to go ahead and book a party because they can't come that night. So make sure that you're using that party link, that you can text that to your host. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, because we did that on call 1, let me know. but you want to definitely send them that party link via text or Facebook message, so then they can get outside orders through your website that goes on to their party. So then after you talk to that host, you want to send her an email as a follow-up. So then you got two forms of communication, because not everybody's a good listener, right? Probably some of you are on here and you're kind of not listening anyway, because I know it's easy to do. We get distracted. So if you're on the phone with the host and maybe your kid's running around or the dog's barking or whatever, she's not really listening to everything you're saying, right? So then follow up with an email like the next day, just kind of reiterating what you said. And also there's an email that you can send your host from your website once you set up your party. And this is kind of what it says here. It shows her how to use the link. It shows her how she can use her host dashboard. If she wants to send e-invitation, she can. I honestly don't think that's the best way, but if she wants to, send e-invitation, she can. And then it goes on here to talk about the links that you can use. And then call to, this to me is really, really important. And I think this is a call that a lot of consultants forget to do. And I do this 10 days before their party. 2 weeks to 10 days before their party. Now, if you've got people that are booked close in, well, then you're just going to do that. But this is really important. So has anybody ever opened their calendar and you forgot what you have, like at the end of the month? So right now, we're the end of March. Have you ever turned open your calendar for the next month and you're like, oh, shoot, I totally forgot I have that next week? Anybody ever done that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know I have. So imagine if you're a host, right, and you booked your party for the first week of April, okay, and you're busy because you got life going on, and you open your calendar and you go to look at next month, this week, and you go, oh, shoot, I've got that Pampered Chef party next week. Well, I haven't done a thing. I'm going to have to cancel that party because I don't have time to do that. That's what goes through people's minds. So this number 2 call is really important to do 2 weeks to 10 days before your host party. And so again, we're building excitement. So when you call, you want to be excited. You don't go, hi, this is Lisa. I'm calling about your party. Let's see if you have any questions. Hey, this is Lisa. I'm so excited about our party. I know we're doing whatever your theme is. I can't wait to have fajitas and margaritas with your group. You guys are going to love it. It's so much fun. So I just want to remind you that this is a good time. Have you had a chance to send out your invitations or invite people? So, and then I wait and see what they say. You're going to get 1 of 3 responses. 1 is, oh yeah, when is my party? 2 is, oh yeah, I've started on that. I'm thinking about that. I've got people I'm thinking about inviting. I'm gonna do that this week. And then the 3rd host, which is the one we love, says, oh, I've already sent out my invitations and I've already got 3 outside orders, and I have got a huge list of people, and I know all the stuff that I want to get for my party, and she's on and on and on. She's so excited. So you're gonna get 1 of those 3. And so, you're going to have that great show with the number 3 host regardless, right? Because she's on the ball. Number 2, you probably have a decent party, but she might not have good attendance. But that number 1 host who says, when is my party? She's probably going to cancel if you don't make this call. So that's why it's really important to make this call and remind her to send out our invitations, remind her to text people, remind her to start working on her outside orders. So that's why this call is so, so important. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Can you guys see how that could happen, if you don't do this call? All right. So then at that call, then I'll go ahead. So again, we've got our final check-in, which might just be a text to your host, okay? And also, during that other call, you might say, hey, especially that host that's on the ball, have you ever thought about doing this? You're so on the ball, and you can use Kit credit, because we have a Kit credit that you can use once you host a party. They can take $25 or $50 off of their Kit price. So you might just bring that up at that time as well and see if they have any interest in that. And then let her know that, hey, I'm going to be calling you the day before your party, or texting you the day before your party to get a head count. And so it's real important that maybe you touch base with people the day before your party. You can even make up what I do. I don't know if any of you have seen, I have an app on my phone called, you don't have to use this, but I do find it very helpful. I have an app on my phone called Red Stamp. I don't know if you guys can see it. Anyway, it's this app on my phone. I don't think you can see it, but you can make little email or texting cards. And so you can take a picture, a photo of one of our products or one of our recipes, and you can do the host date and time and all the information about our party and text it to her. And then she can text it out as a reminder to her friends. And so what I tend to do is I have like 3 that I've made up, and then I just keep everything. It takes me like 2 minutes to change the name and the address and her phone number, and I just keep the basic photo.
What's the name of that app again?
What
It's called
if
Red Stamp. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The name of the app?
The name of the app is called Red Stamp.
Can you spell it? I think
Yeah.
we're having a hard.
Oh, yeah, it's RED, like red, and then stamp, STAMP.
Okay. Because I was hearing RES.
Oh, sorry, red like the color red, and
Great,
then
thank
stamp like you put on a postcard or whatever. Okay, so just that it doesn't matter how they remind people the day before, they can text them, but that's just helpful. I find that if I send them that little photo and tell them to text it to their friends, they're more likely to do that than they are to pick up the phone and call somebody. Or the other thing that they can do to remind their friends, if they've used Facebook as a group, don't just post on the Facebook group, but encourage your host to personal message all those people she's invited, and she can just keep copying and pasting the same thing. Hey, I really hope you can stop by tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I want to remind you that the party's at 6:30, because a lot of times people forget the time. Has anybody ever, let me ask you guys this, have you ever gotten an invitation to a party and the host reminded you and you still forgot? I have. I'm really horrified when I do that because I feel like it's really bad manners, but I've done it. And so people get busy. So maybe this seems like, oh, it's a lot, but it's how you get people to your party. And then when people are at the party, what happens? People are having fun. Your host is having fun. You're going to get more sales, which is you're going to make for a happy host because she's going to get more free products, and you're going to get more sales, which you're going to make more money. So it's a win-win for everybody to get more people at the party. It's really, really what you want to be doing. So do you guys have any questions on how to do the host coaching? Oh, there's a couple things I wanted to show you. There is a sheet that I'll post later, and it's a way to track your host. So it's a host coaching thing that you can put all your hosts on it to keep track of them. Well, let's see. And what I do is I have a binder that I keep a sheet for my host in there. And let me show you what else I do. Is when I go to a party, I just have these clear folders that I bought like at Walmart or Office Depot or whatever. And when I go to a party, all the money from that party, all the door price slips from that party, and all the order forms from that party go into this clear plastic sleeve. So when I leave for my party, my host information is in here. All the information from the party goes in here. And then when I go to close out the show, it's easy because all the money is in here. All the door price slips are in here. All the information I have. So if I have multiple shows open, I might have 4 of these in my desk at one time. Then once the party is completed, once I'm done with this, I staple all the sales receipts together. I follow up on any of the door price slips that I have. If somebody wanted to book a show or whatever, that I immediately follow up on within 48 hours. If they wanted to book a show at a later time, like in a couple months, I don't know if you guys watched my little video last week, but they go then into my box. And so my little box is numbered January through December. And if they tell me, for example, that they want a September show, they're going to go in here in July so that I can follow up with them. So all those door price slips have a place to go. And then I make sure that I add them all to my contacts so they're getting my e-newsletter as well. Okay, so I want to show you guys the launch list. If you guys have not done your own party, I highly recommend it. But this is something else that you can give to your host and to help them to get a good group of people. So it's, you know, their launch list, it's basically different people that they might know from different groups. And if you give your host this with their host packet, that's going to help them come up with more than just, you know, that one small little group of people maybe that they work with or that they hang out with. So this is going to help them come up with multiple people to invite. Has anybody used something like this before?
Yes.
Okay. Is it helpful or? Okay, so the launch list is something you can go ahead and stick in your host packet. Let's see, promotions calendar. So this is where you go to find out what all the upcoming specials are. If you've not done that, you can print these off and have those. So this is going to show you what the host specials are because you just look at the March, April, or May. And then you've got your host, guest, sales, and new consultant specials on here. So for April, we can just click on here and see what our April host is stoneware. So if you know somebody, I know some of you are still trying to get some more bookings right now. And if you know somebody that loves stoneware, you can click up here on the host flyer. Then you definitely want to talk to them because they can get some fabulous savings on stoneware in April. It's amazing. With all these things they can choose from.
I've actually printed that off and got 2 parties booked from that.
Yay! Good job. What did you say? What did you do? Let's share with that. I love it.
It was actually 2 ladies that I knew that had used Pampered Chef in the past, and both of them were big Stone fans. And I knew that, you know, they talked about it a lot. So I took that to work with me, give it to both of them, and they're both taking up a show for me.
Yay! Good job. Congratulations.
So it's just things that I knew that they liked, you know, so, and which I'm hoping I will get bookings from them because a lot of their family are big Stone fans as well. So
okay, so that's great too. You get them early in the month, and
yes.
Which is perfect. They can be starting right now, and that's something a lot of times people don't realize. Like if you have an April show, that doesn't mean they can't be taking up orders right now. So they can be, you can get them booked, and they can be taking up orders before that month actually starts. So that's really helpful. I'm looking for this flyer. If I don't find it right now, I'm going to post it, but it's called Host Coaching 101. It's a sheet, and it kind of just has a checklist of what, you know, so like I said, print off that other one because that's going to give you the exact words to use. And then this one is basically just a form that you check off to make sure that you've done those items. So they have, you know, these other lessons on here, basically what we just kind of talked about. But I really like the one that you can print off that whole thing. Okay, so it even has a sample follow-up email to your host that I was talking about. They even have that on here. Okay. All right, do you guys have some questions right now? How do you guys feel about talking with your host? Do you guys have any reservations about it or things you're worried about?
I just feel like with friends, I don't want them to feel like I'm reading off a sheet of paper. I want it to be natural with them, and they're like, come on, you're trying to sell me right now. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Let me ask you. Okay, well, what if you said, hey, I know that, like, come clean with them. Like, I have to practice this, and I feel really goofy, like, telling you this stuff, but I need to practice it. So I know you probably know kind of what you're supposed to do, but do you mind if I just practice? It's going to sound kind of hokey, but I just need to practice. Do you mind if I just practice with you?
I'm going to try that and see what they say. They would look at me. I'm an awful liar. I'm awful at it.
I know, I am too. I really am too. But just, really, you do need to practice and just say, I want to help you have a good party. And I'm new at this. I'm new at being a consultant. And I'm learning, I'm in the learning process right now. And so the main things that I've learned, though, is that you got to over-invite, that a third of the people that you invite are going to come. The second thing I've learned is that you need to invite your people 2 ways. And the third thing that I've learned is that you need to remind everybody the day before because people are busy and they forget.
Yeah.
And just say,
like my virtual party, getting people to respond to me. I'll be like, I'm giving out free products, and it's like.
That's why I'm not. I know what you're saying because I get the same thing. That's why I don't love virtual parties because I like interaction and people don't ignore you in a room if you talk to them, but they will on social media. So the other thing on the virtual parties is I think the hosts need to do more work. You got to get the host. Like they're not going to ignore the host. They might ignore if you ask them something, but they're not going to ignore your host. So if you can get your host asking questions or get your host posting things or get your host to do a small video of her favorite products or just set out her favorite products or get her, if you can send her, what you can do is you can send her questions to ask and you can send her posts to post because they're going to be much more likely to respond to her than they are to you. Because they're friends.
Is there anywhere on the site that shows like what questions we can have her ask?
I can post that. I think I sent you a copy of that, but what I'll do is I'll go to the team training page and I'll post that. But I have an Evernote file that are things that are like posts that you can ask her to post.
Okay, I do have that one.
You do have that one? Because it has some photos and stuff in there too that you can even send her. But like think about if you're in a live situation with your virtual parties. I guess that's the best way is to talk to her about she has to welcome people to the party just like she would in her home. To try to get that virtual host to think just like she would in a home is she needs to thank people if they place an order. She needs to thank people for coming. She needs to share what her favorite products are, just like she would in her home. But it tends to be sometimes I think they say, oh, I'm doing a virtual party and Sarah, she's doing all the work.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't happen that way if it was a live party in her home.
Yeah.
She would answer the door. She would greet people. She would get them a drink. She would small talk with them. And so that's why I still think you want to talk on the phone with your virtual party host for at least 5 minutes and explain that to her. Because I think even if you text that to her, it doesn't make as much sense.
Mm-mm.
So I do think even with your virtual party host, you want to have a call with them. And then you also want to give them some catalogs so that they can get orders from grandma who's not on social media. And they can get orders from people they work with. And so that's going to increase their sales. But again, it's breaking down. Do you guys all understand how the host benefits work?
Yeah.
Does anybody have
Yes.
questions about how the host benefits work at all? And the future party pick. Do you guys know what a future party pick is?
Yes.
A future party pick?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so a future party pick is if your current host gets a booking or multiple bookings, when she goes to their party, she gets an item at 50% off.
Okay.
And that's for 6 months. So it's in her best interest to try to get a party booked for you. So you can tell her for every party that you book that are held within 6 months, the show first has to reach $200. But once that show reaches $200, she gets a half price item. And that half price item counts towards that new host total sales as well. So she's helping her friend out that booked from her when she orders. She might order a $100 item. It costs her $50, and then that $50 goes towards the new host benefits.
Okay.
And she can get as many of those as possible. There's no limit.
Okay.
So that is a really nice tool, and a lot of people, maybe we forget to get, or you're new and you don't know about it. But that's a great thing, is to make sure you tell your host that that's a thing. So even if somebody can't come to the party, I had one host recently, she got me 3 bookings outside the party. That's very unusual. That doesn't normally happen. But she got me 3 from people because she talked me up and she told her friends, like, oh my gosh, you want to do a party with her? They're so fun. You guys, you get all this stuff. And she booked me 3 parties. I was like, wow. So, again, when you're doing a party that it's fun and everybody's having a great time, if you guys haven't watched, if you go onto Consultants Corner, there are, under my shows and cooking shows right here, there are some really top sellers in the company. My internet's really slow because I've got the Zoom thing on. If you go to Station Style right here, there's some top sellers, and you see their live show. And I highly recommend watching their show.
Oh, that's neat.
Let's see.
So Lisa, this is Tiffany. I have a question. I asked Tyler, and we were chatting in email, so I'm not really sure I got the full answer on the host pick. I understand how that piece works, but one of the questions I had was in relationship to the party that I had with him, and there would have been 5 bookings from that show. But
Okay.
because I elected to become a consultant, they are booking with me. So that means now that I don't get the host pick.
You do not get the future party pick since you became a consultant. That is correct. But you're making all the money from those shows. so that's your trade-off. You're gonna make the commission on all those shows. So if he would have done those shows, you would have got a half off item at each of those shows. But now you're gonna make the full commission off of each of those shows. Does that make sense? I think she froze. Are you frozen?
Oh, there you are.
So here's these videos right here, and I highly recommend you guys go on and watch these. These are top sellers in the company, and you can see like exactly what they do at the beginning of their shows. I like this so much better than what they have on the new consultant on the PC University, because the one on PC University is not a real consultant. She's like an actor, and these are real consultants at real life shows, and they're really, really good. You're going to get so much good show information watching these. You're going to pick up so many tips, and you're going to see what to say at the beginning of your show, in the middle of your show, about bookings, about everything. I've watched all of these, and they're great. So I always learn something when I watch somebody else do a show. So, all right. So does anybody have any last minute questions? And you can text me or email me or post on the thing, but we run out in 3 minutes or 2 minutes. It only lets me go for 40 minutes this service. So does anybody have any questions?
I'm good. I lost my internet for a minute, but it came
Okay, I
back.
know you kind of froze. You were just like frozen in time. Well, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you feel a little more confident about what to say and how to talk to your upcoming host. Because trust me, you'll be happier, they'll be happier, and a happy host makes you get more bookings. So anyway, all right. So
Thank you.
thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
guys. Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
I'm on the Wi-Fi. but-